Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Chorus Studio. Welcome to the show. So, spoiler season for Mom March the Machine has wrapped up. And actually, I think today is the day where I've seen a couple of the commons and uncommons that they didn't send out for spoilers that are just kind of like, they just dumped them essentially. So those, I believe, came out today. So I think we've got the full list now of all the cards from the set. One that did not get dumped today because it is not a common or uncommon. I mean, not that common or uncommons are bad. They're not. Just the ones that they're dumping typically aren't all that great. But regardless, this is none of those things. This is a card that came out late yesterday, and I really want to highlight it because it is absolutely incredible and has so much potential. It's huge. I love it. So here we go. Begin the invasion. Oh my goodness. First up, the art on this card is incredible. Thank you, Campbell White. That is incredible. Well done. Oh, I love that. Like the different planes and whatnot. Oh, it's just so cool. Okay, regardless. Sorcery for X and Wooburg. 5 colors. That's right. Yeah, I'm guilty as charged of loving 5-color commanders and loving 5-color decks. And if you don't love 5-color, you can't use this card. But I can. Anyways, 5 colors, so here we go. Search your library for up to X battle cards with different names, put them on the battlefield, then shuffle. Oh my goodness. So, spoiler season started off with, introducing a brand new battle. At least it did for me. That's, I think, the first episode I did for this spoiler season. Technically, not like, the first look a long time ago or those, leaks that happened in between. Actually, I think the first one was not a leak per se, but, an article came out a day earlier than it should have. But basically, yeah, that was the first spoiler that I did was on Battle, a new battle. And it's like, Wonderworld's Battle, what is this new permanent that we've, been waiting since we saw the brand new Atraxa that mentioned battles on it? What in the world is it? And yeah, they're pretty exciting. They're pretty awesome. Gonna highlight a couple in this episode. If you haven't seen what battles are, well, make sure you stay tuned for this one and you'll learn here in a little bit. But regardless, this has so much potential because, hey, this is a tutor that you can put X into. And yeah, there's other ones like that, like Diabolic Revelation. Actually, ironically, I think this is like the exact same cost as Diabolic Revelation, technically 5 mana plus an X. That one goes and gets cards into your hand. This says, hey, go get directly onto the battlefield. Kind of like a War Gate, but like times 10, not times 10, but like a War Gate, but very specific, again, specifically for battles, but again, getting so many into play. Again, just be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put 5 into that X. Okay, cool. 10 mana in total. Very doable in Commander, obviously. And of course, there are certain commanders out there that can make that a lot more than that. We'll talk about some commanders that really might want to consider this card for a battle deck. But yeah, 5 mana in that. Go get 5 battles. That's an absurd amount of value. Any 5 battles. Okay, yes, with different names. But again, we are in Commander, so hey, it's a singleton format. That text doesn't really matter at all on this. So the fantastic thing, though, is, again, these battles have great ETBs. Of course, they've got great, also backsides on them, too. Other cards, or other sides of the card, essentially, that you can utilize if you take them out. There's some huge impacts that you can have with this and some crazy plays that you can make with it. And yeah, Battle Tribal is here. I think there's correct me below in the comments if I'm wrong on this, but 30 plus battles that you can choose from this brand new set. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. This is pretty fantastic. And yeah, there's some crazy things that you can do this. Again, I'm going to talk about what kinds of battles you might want to consider to go get with this and what kinds of plays that you can make with that, ways that you can really take advantage of battles being in play, and then of course commanders that might want to consider this brand new battle strategy. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped about this one. I don't know if you are, but regardless, let's jump into it. Let's jump into some battles. So first up, again, like I mentioned, I think Invasion of Zendikar actually was the very first battle that I brought up ever. Again, seems like ages ago when spoiler season just started. And yeah, enters the battlefield, search life for 2 basic land cards, put on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Eddie had a good comment on this one. He's like, man, Wizard just hates explosive vegetation. It's kind of funny. Yeah, because they keep making just better iterations of it, essentially. 4 mana, again, 3 and a green. Exact same thing as explosive vegetation, but on an ETB that, yes, you can use and abuse. We'll talk about that here in a bit. And of course, this could be one of the battles that you go get. Maybe you just go get this one. Again, just double checking real quick. Yeah, beginning invasion does not exile. So of course, there are plenty of ways to go get it back in your hand. So ramping further so that you can then, get it back, cast it again for even more can be great. And of course, this just sets yourself up, to get ahead of your opponents even further. So yeah, this isn't the most impactful battle, obviously, but it's one that can help you earlier to get to the point where you have a lot of mana for this, and of course can help you later, obviously, to cast Begin the Invasion again for a lot more. And also, I do want to mention, of course, these cards do flip and have a backside to them. I'm not going to bring those up on this episode because I really want to highlight the front sides. But yeah, make sure you check these cards out, and make sure you check out the backsides of the cards too. They are really cool. I'll try to remember to put all these cards in a link in the description below, okay? Future Mitch, try to remember that, please. Okay, here we go. Oh, and I probably should mention that the way that battles work really quick, in case you don't know. Basically, when this battle, it's a siege, enters the battlefield, you have an opponent say, like, you protect it. You still control it, technically. You technically still control it. But they protect it, and then everyone else can attack it. And it's got 3 defense points or whatever. Once it's taken out, you exile it, and you can cast the backside of it. Okay, cool? We're good? All right, awesome. Invasion of Fiora. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is probably going to be toward the top of the list of the cards that you're going to be going and getting with Begin the Invasion. Because, hey, 4 black. But again, if you're tutoring it out, it's going to cost nothing for you, essentially. I mean, nothing outside of, the cost that you already paid for Begin the Invasion. Battle Siege. When it enters the battlefield, choose one or both. Destroy all legendary creatures, destroy all non-legendary creatures. So this can just be an immediate board wipe. You're like, yeah, I don't really like what's going on here. I don't like these creatures in play. Let's wipe out everything. Or, if we just have, say, our commander in play and our opponents maybe just have, a legendary creature or 2 that we don't really care all that much about, or no legendary creatures at all, then it's a one-sided board wipe, essentially, right? So yeah, just say, yeah, I'll keep my legendary creature in play. Or on the opposite end, if you've got non-legendaries in play and your opponents have legendaries, cool, take those out. It's a flexible board wipe that, again, you can tutor out with Begin the Invasion and just say, yeah, all these ETBs are happening, and here you go. So, yeah, just a way to clear the board and say, yeah, let's reset things. Oh, by resetting things, what I mean is I'm going to have all these battles in play. You're going to have no creatures to defend them, and of course, there are battles that make creatures too, and you got your commander in play probably still when you cast this. So you can then take out the battles, recast the backsides, and the backsides can be quite powerful. Regardless, next up, Invasion of Ravnica. Very flavorful for this one to be a colorless spell. 5 mana. It says when it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls that isn't exactly 2 colors. So unless something's exactly 2 colors, you can't get rid of it. But everything else, yeah, that's fair game. You're gonna be able to get rid of a lot of things with this. I mean, one thing in particular. But again, you get this in combination with Invasion of Fiora, which says, hey, I'm just gonna destroy all the creatures. Cool. And then this one's like, oh, okay, that opponent's got a really pesky enchantment to play. Go away! So yeah, it's a really good card to be able to utilize that. And again, all these, all the ones I brought up so far are not that hard to flip yet, right? 3 for the first one, Zendikar, 4 defense points, whatever they're called. I can't remember. Siege points? I don't know. Invasion of Ravnica, also with 4, so they're not that hard to flip. But again, when you're taking out your opponent's creatures, they are just ready for you to swing through and take them out. Moving on, Invasion of Chandelure. Kind of on the other end of things. Yeah, so we can take out our opponent's things with some of these ETBs, but also we can get some more things back. When it enters the battlefield, return to 3 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Great! Again, it can just be a great way to essentially say, hey, I need those things back out of my graveyard. And if I remember correctly, actually, the other side of this is pretty disgusting, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, if you utilize this again, you say, okay, when you're looking through your battles, you're just going to have a lot of different options. Again, if you're tutoring for, again, say 5, you're like, okay, I want to get rid of the creatures, so Invasion of Fiora, let's do that. I want to get rid of that specifically, okay, Invasion of Ravnica. And then, I've got some really good things in my graveyard. Let's get those back again. So this is kind of like a toolbox strategy where you're just like, hey, I've got all these cards I can just tutor out that have an immediate impact, an immediate ETB, and a backside that is going to be absolutely incredible as well. So yeah, getting 3 permanents back from your graveyard to your hand can be huge, especially, again, maybe it's like an Eternal Witness, which can then get back your Begin the Invasion, which then starts us all over again. So yeah, really fun plays can be had with this. Moving on, Invasion of Tolvada. This one is quite spicy as well. I'm not sure why Wizards put out a grainier version of this, but yeah, we can read it well enough, I guess. 3 white-black. Enters the battlefield. Return target non-battle permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So obviously this could get kind of janky if you could return battles, because I guess if there was, and you're in a standard deck or whatever, you could sacrifice one of them. I guess you could just keep getting the same one back again and again and again. Regardless, what you can get back is anything but battles. So you bring this into play and you immediately get some back. Again, if you got Eternal Witness in your graveyard, get Eternal Witness out. Begin the Invasion out. Fun times. But yeah, also, if you just have a massive creature in your graveyard or a massive permanent in your graveyard that is non-battle, get it out, get into play. Again, extra value. This is just fantastic. These ETBs are incredible. And again, it's like a toolbox. You can just take whatever you need for the situation and just utilize it. It's great. Speaking of great, Did an entire episode on this one actually as well. Make sure you check that one out at some point. Yeah, I love Invasion of Alara. This card is so cool. And again, you need to be in a 5-color deck to utilize it. So if you love 5-color like me, good. When it enters the battlefield, exile cards from the top of your library to exile 2 non-land cards with mana value 4 or less. You may cast one of those cards without paying its mana cost. Put one of them in your hand, the other go on the bottom of your library. Random order. If you've got some really good cards that cost 4 or less in your deck, maybe like some other battles that you might want to just get, great. And let me just mention this real quick as a quick spoiler for further on the episode. There's ways to use and abuse these ETBs even more. So yeah, by getting a really good line like this in play can give you even more value throughout the game. I don't know why I whispered that, but I did. So let's keep going. But yeah, so basically, cast one thing for free, card advantage as well, a great ETB. And again, if you want to see the exact kind of deck that I want to build around this card specifically, make sure you check that one out because it's kind of spicy. Next up, Invasion of Arcadios. This is going to be the last spell I'm bringing up. There's a lot of them, again, like 33, but this one in particular is quite good with this because, well, you can do some pretty crazy things. So this one is a battle, obviously Siege, that has seven defense points or whatever it is. Enters the battlefield, search your library, graveyard, and or outside the game. Rules committee. We can't do that, right? Boo. Anyways, for an instant or sorcery card you own, reveal it, put in your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. So, even though we can't search outside of our library, because apparently there's no outside the game, except for like companions, which, anyways, no wishes. What you can do, though, is search for an instant sorcery in your own library, which can really, really heavily impact what is going to happen next with this battle plan. And battle plan, there you go. That's what we probably name the deck. You'll probably name it battle plan. Anyways, yeah, you can go get like a regrowth or something like that to go get Begin the Invasion back in your hand and do it again. Or you can get one of these cards coming up. And let's jump into them right now. So, again, I talked about how getting these battles out can be really impactful because they have massive ETBs. So let's use some ways to use and abuse their ETBs. Like Sudden Disappearance. Yeah, this janky, awesome card. Absolutely love it. Here we go. Exile and non-land permanents target player controls. Return the exile cards to the battlefield under the owner's control to begin the next end step. So, you can use this in an offensive way against an opponent. If you're like, okay, I want to alpha strike them, swing out. Hey, kind of like a temporary River's Rebuke. It's like, oh, your things are gone. Swing through, you're gone. Okay, cool. So that is kind of a way you could use it. But in this case, we want to be able to bounce our battles. Not bounce. Blink our battles. There we go. So, blinking our battles. Yes, 6 mana is a decent amount, but you just paid probably 10 mana or whatever it was to get all those battles out. Now you get their ETBs again. So yeah, again, you control them. The other players are defending them. You still control the permanents though. So you say, I target myself. All my things go away. End of the turn they come back. I get every single one of those ETBs again. So that means that you can go tutor for another instant or sorcery because of the Arcavios thing that you had in play. So yeah, there's a lot of potential for crazy plays and crazy setups once you get things going with this kind of a battle strategy, and it's really cool. So yeah, any ways to essentially blink these battles can definitely be considered. I will mention this next one. You might want to check with your play group first if they're okay with this one because it is gross. Very gross. Let's just say that. Dimensional Breach. Exile all permanents from the game. As long as those cards are exiled, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, the player returns one of their removed cards, one of the exiled cards they own to play. So, hey, everything's gone. Let's reset. Yeah, you probably want to ask your play group about this one because it's kind of like land destruction. Because again, this doesn't say non-land. If this said non-land, this would probably be okay. But this is just, no, we're basically resetting the game. And every single turn, everyone gets to take one thing out of exile and put it into play. And you're going to be like, battle, 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 battle. So yeah, you get those really cool ETBs and whatnot. And yeah, that is something to consider. But again, ask your playgroup first. I would not assume that you can just use this without your opponents being really, really upset with you when you do it. So please ask your opponents first. Ask your playgroup, ask your LGS, whatever you're gonna ask. Just make sure you ask, because that's not nice. Come into a social format. Just talk. Okay, next up. King Brago Eternal. Now, this one isn't one that you can, tutor with that Arcavios one or whatnot. This is one that, well, you could get out of your graveyard. If it's in your graveyard, get right back into play with that one ETB I talked about earlier. I can't remember all the battle names. Regardless, this is a great one, a repeatable blink effect for you. And yeah, here we go. 2/4 flyer. When it deals counter to a player, exile any number target non-land permanent you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under the owner's control. So again, when a battle is in play, it is still controlled by you. An opponent is defending it or whatnot, but you still control it. So hey, you get Brago through, you hit a player, you're like, cool, I hit you. Awesome, let's blink all my battles, get all my ETBs again. Now, keep in mind, if you are trying to take the battle out, taking the fence counters down, This will reset the defense counters. If you're really just trying to use and abuse those ETBs, though, that's a great way to do it. So yeah, and of course you can pick and choose against exile any number. So again, if you're just trying to take out a battle, you're like, okay, I don't want to take that battle and blink it because I want to keep its, counters low on it. Cool. I'll keep those counters low on it. Every other one I'll blink. So yeah, definitely consider Brago as well. Speaking of considering things, though, yeah, let's talk about some commanders that I'm going to be considering for a battle plan deck. Again, called Battle Plan, apparently. It's very clever. Anyways, Ramos Dragon Engine is probably the first one that came to my mind. 4 for a Flying Dragon. Whenever you cast a spell, put a counter on Ramos Dragon Engine for each of the spell's colors. Remove 5 of those counters. Add double Wooburg to your mana pool. Yeah, Ramos is an engine. It can be a giant mana engine for you, essentially. There's a good amount of these battles that are multicolored. So, yeah, when you're casting those, cool, you get extra counters on this. There's, of course, some counter synergies that you can work with, too. Regardless, once you do have Ramos suited up with 5 counters, sure, just unleash all that mana plus whatever other mana you want to utilize for that giant X spell, Begin the Invasion. Again, literally just using this spell's mana, you can cast that for 10 total. Again, 5 equals X, X equals 5. There we go. We got there, and that's a ton of value already. Plus, and if you want to dump even more mana into it, do so. Have an incredible turn. Have fun. Or yeah, if you've got like 6, a play could literally be just like if you got 6 extra mana, like let's say you just have 6 mana, okay, just ready. You activate Ramos for the 10, and then you cast that, you go get those 5 things. One of them's Arcavios or whatever it is. Then you with your 6 mana, you after with Arcavios' ETB, you go get, Sudden Disappearance. Then with the 6 mana, you tap, you cast Sudden Disappearance after that, and then you get to, blink those battles again. So there's a lot of potential for some crazy combo plays that can happen that can just be absolutely absurd and fun. And yeah, Ramos giving you a lot of mana can really help, obviously. Moving on, another one that I would consider be Joda. Now, there's really not too many battles that are really all that expensive mana-wise. I think one of the ones I mentioned earlier, Fiora, I think that one was like 6. But most of these are not, it seems, too high priced when it comes to mana. That being said, the Joda deck that I have is a Joda deck built around Villainous Wealth, which also is another spell that Joda will not help you cast. I should read Joda first. You may pay Wooburg rather than pay the mana for spells you cast. So this does not help at all Begin the Invasion. Again, with my deck built around Villainous Wealth, it doesn't help with that either. What it does help with, though, are massive ramp spells. I'm talking about spells that cost 7 plus, or whatever, essentially. 6, 7, 8, 9. You can just ramp incredibly quickly with a Joda out there, essentially, in a really honed deck that really wants to ramp incredibly quickly. So yeah, you do all these ramp things. You have a lot of tutor ways. You have ways to tutor to get Begin the Invasion. Again, same kind of concept of my Villainous Wealth deck. You might even want to consider some copy spells as well, just like my Joda deck does too. So you cast Begin the Invasion for a lot with that X. You copy it a couple times, and then you get even more of those battles. So yeah, a ramp-focused Joda deck like that one kind of is basically not just replacing just Villainous Wealth in there, obviously, because you need to replace some battles for other things too. But a very focused, ramp tutor deck can be great with a copy sub-theme too. Can be great with a Begin the Invasion battle plan deck. Next up, Niv Mizzet Reborn. Again, there's a decent amount of these battles that are actually multicolored. So yeah, if you're including a good amount of them in the deck, sure, Niv Mizzet Reborn can go get them. Enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each color pair, choose a card that's exactly those colors from among them. Put the chosen cards on your hand, in your hand, the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order. So again, if you've got a 2-colored battle, I'm trying to look one up real quick just to make sure I remember it. Yeah, Invasion of Tolvada. There we go. If you've got, a good amount of battles that are multicolored, consider Niv Mizzet. There you go. Or you want to go get specific ones. You want to dig for specific things. And again, of course, there's certain plays that you can make with this. Again, you can go get Brago with it too. If you're doing, kind of 2-color tribal with battles in there, you can do a lot of cool things with this. And again, it's an ETB that you can use and abuse too. So make sure you're keeping that in mind because, yeah, Sudden Disappearance gets even more value with this. And finally, maybe you want to do a stall strategy, actually. Child of Alara. This is probably another commander you should probably ask before you play. If you're really going heavy into sacrificing this and destroying all permanents, when it dies, destroy all non-land permanents that can't be regenerated. So yeah, if you've just got like a high market in play, you're just like, cool, sacrifice space, baby. Boom, everything goes away. So yeah, this is a good way to kind of stall the board while you ramp, while you get other things out, before you cast your giant Begin the Invasion and then really take over the game. So yeah, there's a lot of 5-color commanders that can really be pretty cool with a battle plan type strategy. And yeah, overall, I think Begin the Invasion's a really cool card. And again, like a battle deck could have worked kind of without it, but kind of with it, though, actually really becomes an actual thing that can be pretty powerful. And you can do some really crazy things with, again, the kind of like, the synergies that can really happen. Again, Arcavios or whatever that one is, going and getting, Sudden Disappearance or whatever, just being able to kind of just use and abuse those ETBs again and again and again. And again, I didn't even really kind of like go into, again, like, yeah, your commanders that are probably still in play. Again, if you've got Joda in play, and then, yeah, you destroy the board with that, yeah, with Fiora or whatever it is, except for legendaries. your opponent's creatures are gone. You can probably get through a Joda now and take out of one of your battles that you just put in play to flip it to the backside for all that value that you're going to have on the back too. So yeah, there's a lot of potential with this. Make sure you're considering this for, well, a crazy 5-color deck, because 5-color decks are so much fun. Regardless, again, I will try to remember. Future Mitch, remember to put a link in the description for these cards I talked about in this episode. Yeah, make sure you're staying tuned for even more quick takes and spoilers. I hope you're having a good day. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.